Thank you, my uncle, for those beautiful words. Next we have Jeyakumar, Dr. Sivakumaran's nephew from Australia, to say a few words. So it's going to be, Mr. Jeyakumar Valivelu, who's Dr. Sivakumaran's cousin who's come from Australia.
My name is Jeyakumar. I'm the first cousin of Dr. Sivakumaran, and I have got a couple of tributes from my brothers who are unable to be here today. And before I start, the reason I've been here is because of Dr. Sivakumaran. He's the one actually sponsored me to come to UK, paid my college fees, kept me with him, and when he went to Thailand, he left me in the house, and I was staying at his house all the time. So I am very grateful for that. And I'm one of the 6 Kumars, and my brother Jeyakumar, who was number 2, he has sent a tribute to Periyannan, which I will read. I sincerely regret that I could not attend this goodbye occasion for my dearest Periyannan. Periyannan is practically my true brother. My brother Dr. Sivakumaran and I lived in his house for nearly 7 years. It was from 1959 to 1966. We went to Karachi to study, staying with Periya, that's Mr. Kansami. I joined the class 4 in Gnanasaria College and then went to Horticulture in class 6. We stayed 7 years at Viravapay, that's Periya's house name. Except during holidays, we went back to Bangalore. Our parents were teaching in Kotville and Samampre at that time. I call my brother Anna. Peripa children I call as Periyannan, Chinnanan, and Sodiyaka. I was the baby of the house and I have enjoyed some special benefits. Periyannan was fond of me. We made a good team. We were very comfortable with each other and did many things together. Life was tough having come to study in Jaffna because the children in particular are not studying well. Once in Karachi, life was heavily regimented, living in both fronts, hard to college, discipline, and conduct the course, task, and rules at home, double-edged sword. Periya was a strict person. Everybody in the house had timetable for course and tasks. When you're at hard college, there is no pleasure or fun. There is no place for fun or play among students, but strictly studying and to partake in assigned schools. Chinnanan was prudent and obedient. Periyannan took everything easy and nice and created fun of everything. Some of the things we did are, it was thrill to go doubles on the bicycle to Nelledi and have a vade and a plain tea. He drives the car when the parents are out, and we had to wait the yard to remove the tire marks. Despite some family feud between relatives, we borrow the motorbike from his cousins and go for joyrides and come back home as if nothing has happened. When I miss the school bus, he will arrange his friends to take me doubles in his bicycle because he cannot do it as a prefect of Party College. He goes to visit a friend and we end up going for an English movie. I didn't have the luxury of pocket money those days, but Periyannan will have some. But whatever he gets, he will share it with me. He spends nominal time to study and is not very hardworking, but he performed magnificently. Got accepted in the university entrance with exemption, and he completed the mechanical engineering in 3 years period. Knowingly or not, we all follow his steps in life and studies and ended up doing well. After completing study and as a lecturer at Kadbeta, he opened the way for us to see Colombo, basically at no cost for us. It was same later with London, Norway and Ireland. After marriage, Kalani gave full support to him and he was encouraging her dedication and care for the seniors. He has brought up the children wonderfully and they are all settled well. As implied by the name Mutavar, that means the eldest one, the first one or the eldest has laid out of the world as first. I thank God for giving me an Anand ahead for me to navigate behind. My sincere sympathies for Kalani, Nim, Ram and Cham and their families. Jeyakumar. And my eldest brother, Dr.Sivakumaran, is unable to be here today, and he has sent a tribute as well. I am most distressed that I am unable to be present physically at this moment to pay tribute to Periyanan, Dr. Sivakumaran, who has been a rock-like support for me, and not just lately. If there was someone I could bank on for food, for lodging, for money, information, or just to watch live cricket, it was Periyanan. No Prabhu could read it, and Kalani was always there to provide silent support every time. Thank you, Kalani. Many may not know that I lived in Periyanan's house as the fourth child of the family from the age of 8 to 15. So I did not have just my natural 7 siblings, but really had 10. I think Periyanan was the oldest male in his generation in the Apatiole clan, which was major force in the village. He thus had a bright birthright to boss to all behind him, and I was big beneficiary of in that slipstream. Much of what I learned, mainly general knowledge and sports, were from him, and our corner of the village took more than its share of prizes and distinctions academically. We were simply egged on by his achievements, but we never lost sight of the fun. In our younger days, we traveled behind Periyanan everywhere, whether it be cricket or football matches, school functions, or just impromptu games. Periyanan and Sinan, which is Sivabalan, used to construct wheeled trolley-like contraptions from old automobile parts. We used it to fetch drinking water from the well far away, and was great fun pulling and running behind this machine. In later days, my first ever motorbike ride and my first ever drive of a car would be courtesy of Periyanan, of course, unbearable to his father. Periyanan was a bit of a bully too. Every time I left Jaffna for home in Batticlaw, when the school holidays started, he will do a customs check on my baggage. Once I got caught trying to smuggle an American dollar coin. The fact that the coin had been misappropriated from Sivanathan Mama's place by Periyanan himself in the first place was not allowed. As we grew older, I became more of confident, which meant that I could accompany him to spots where he would try a cigarette, a swig of toddy, or sneak to a cinema. Sinanan and Tangaki, which is Suseelar, would make the diagnosis easily because of the sting of the smoke from our shirts, but they never shocked us to Periyanan's dad. Periyanan had a habit of helping people, especially friends and younger family members like me, in areas of education and general life matters, but he stopped short of spoon-feeding people. He gave us the right advice and help, and then left us to fend ourselves, and that simply made us all that bit stronger. We always had a feeling that he was there to help if we were to get into any difficulty. There will be others who may elaborate on Periyanan's many other great attributes, so I will finish with one overview apology to him. Periyanan was the prefect at school and was the captain of our house called Sharada House. He was responsible for keeping the special food items, including Milo, and kept it on top of a rack in his room that would be locked when he went to school. At that time, the older boys had morning school and we had evening schools. So Periyanan and Sivanan and all others were out in the morning. My brother Jeyakumar and I would go up the roof, remove some tiles to get in, and then eat the Milo. Then we shook the tin in such way that it still looked fuller than it was. Periyanan never cottoned on it, onto what was happening. Sorry, Periyanan. And here we are. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sivakumaran, for those words from Jeyakumar and Dr. Uncle. I would now like to ask Mrs. Nithyananthan, Dr. Sivakumaran's cousin from Canada, to come forward, please.
Thank you. My name is Nithyananthan. I'm one of Sivakumaran's first cousins. Last Thursday, last week, was an unforgettable, sad day for all of us. As the shocking news of Dr. Sivakumaran passing away slowly got around family members and friends across the globe, all of us were in gross disbelief until personally confirming the sad truth with immediate family members. I fondly call him Muthamachan. From a very young age, Muthamachan excelled in everything from studies, sports, extracurricular activities, setting a bar so high for the rest of us only to aspire to. During his time at Hartley College, he had accumulated numerous awards and accolades, with one of the most noteworthy achievements in earning the year's exemptions on the BSc Engineering degree program. Muthamachan continued to excel in his undergrad studies, obtaining an honors degree in mechanical engineering. It was during that time when one of our uncle's family, Ulemachan, and myself shared a house in Montalvania with Muthamachan that I developed a slightly closer bond with him and started to feel a bit more like a friend than a junior cousin. I still remember, just like Vasandan, I just still remember my first motorbike riding lesson with Muthamachan on Gold Road in 1970, and the first period with him in Dehivala just before he left to UK in 71. While our close relationship lasted 45 plus years, he was never shy to exercise his authority to pass a harsh judgment whenever we are doing something not right in his mind. However, underneath all that, he was always very caring and a compassionate person. Later in 1975, when I reconnected with him, he was truly a guiding force for me the first 2 years in London for me. Although we lived apart, I was in North London and he was in New Malden, there was an unwritten expectation that I keep him apprised of my progress on a regular basis by phone. Muthamachan continued to be the same caring individual even after getting married. When he and Kalaka bought the first house in South Gardens College Road, they took me and Kundu, the previous speaker, under their wings. On a lighter note, just one of the not so happy experience for me was learning to drive with Muthamachan, which invariably included taking a few kutus on your head along A3 on Sunday early morning. However, for the many following Sundays, we would both endlessly browse through weekend classifieds to locate my first used car in 1976. Soon after, Kalaka went to Sri Lanka for an birth and Muthamachan's job took him to Norway. Time flies by, I moved to Canada in 1982 and Muthamachan's career takes him to Asia. Fast forward many years, Muthamachan and Kalaka are abundantly blessed with 3 wonderful sons and daughters-in-law and 2 delightful grandchildren. How cruel life can be. Now here we are all in an unbelievable state of mind with a beloved husband, a devoted and caring father, father-in-law, grandpa, a kind Periappa, uncle, a cousin, a close friend, and a dear colleague to many of his colleagues. What a beautiful life robbed away from us as Muthamajan was beginning to embark on his golden years, to enjoy his retired life and his passion for golf. My dearest Muthamajan, forever, for the past 5 decades, you have been such a bright and guiding light for many of us, during good times and bad, never shying away from school, never shying away from to scold us or correct us when we needed. For this we are all eternally grateful, and all those memories will forever last. For my dear Kalaka, Nim, Pran, Shan, Ilimachan, and Solimachan, we all share your pain and loss of Muthamajan, but please be consoled by the fact that the divine forces have concluded that all the chapters and verses have been written and his journey is considered complete. That Muthamajan, having achieved and accomplished all what we can hope for, and has gone to a better place. Thank you.
Thank you, Nithyananthan, for those beautiful words. Next to say a few words is Janani Suseelar. Next to say a few words is Janani Suseelar, who has come from Australia to be with her family. Janani is Periappa's sister's youngest daughter.
Hi, I'm Janani, daughter of Dr. Sivakumaran, sister's daughter. I've just got a few words about my dear uncle. I know you are shining down from heaven, along with your parents watching over us, born to guide, provide and inspire, amuse, delight and entertain, the binding force who held our family together, entertained and inspired till the end. Although the sun will never shine the same, we will look to a brighter day. Rest in peace, everyone.
Thank you, Janani. I'd now like to call on Mr. Santhalingam to say a few words about Periappa, his long-time friend.
Hi everybody, my name is Santhalingam. I am one of the closest friends of Dr. Sivakumaran. There's enough time and there's lots said about him, and everything that was said by Vasantham, by Jeyakumar and by Nithi, I was almost the only outsider who has been part of that naughtiness, that witchiness and the various other events that they were describing. I was there present myself. I started as a friend of him from my boyhood when we were about 12, 13 years old, and my friendship has grown and lasted until 2 weeks ago. So I have got here a script which I wrote up. Some of them may be a repetition of what my Vahanan may have said, because it is based on the message I circulated on the internet. Please bear with me, I am a very emotional person, and particularly when it comes to Siva, I am very emotional. So bear with me, there's plenty of time, and I will give enough time for the kids to say something. The loss of Dr. Sivakumaran is a great loss for his wife Kala, his sons Nim, Ram and Sham, and their respective spouses and children. His brother Sivapalan, his sister Sodhi, his wider family, and the many friends he has spread across the globe. He was a human with an unparalleled memory power. He would still remember any event at any time in his life, be it his boyhood or as a grown-up, to the minutest of the details, and that was the biggest gift he had in life, which led to all these things that they were talking about. He was a person who had an endless quest for knowledge, a keen supporter of all kinds of sports, whether he can play it or he is good or able to be part of the game. There is hardly any that he has not given a try. Academically and professionally, he was a shining star, as has been said earlier on. He went to the university with a double promotion. And his highest, there were lots of degrees he has, a very long list. But amongst those, the highest accolades in his field of study and career are a PhD, Doctor in Philosophy, an MBA, a Master in Business Administration, and above all, an FCE Mackey, a Fellow of the Institution of Mechanical Engineers, the highest professional level you can reach as a mechanical engineer. He has worked all around the globe, starting his career as a lecturer at the University of Moratuwa, Sri Lanka, and continued as consulting engineer after obtaining his doctorate degree, working in many various international oil and gas projects in the petrochemical field in various parts of the world, starting from the UK, moving on to Norway, Ireland, Netherlands, China, Malaysia, USA, France, and Japan. You name any country in this world, there's not a country or continent in this world that he has not lived and worked. He was a sought-after engineering project manager in the petrochemical industry for his excellence in project management and delivery of projects. He was a person of exemplary qualities, a great friend to many who came across him, lots of fun to be with, had a positive attitude to everything in his life, be it academic, professional, or fun activities, and a great organizer. In the early 70s, when he was working on his PhD at Bath University, mind you, he was a full-time PhD student, he organized a few great trips to tour the entire Europe by a Volkswagen camper van equipped with a stove and a tent. And some of us here joined him in that great and had a great time. I was his chief cook, chef, and the navigator. This was a time, as his friend Bala Abraham would say, Siva was very slim in his physique and had long curly hairs with a hippie look. You would not have seen me and Siva playing MGR Kadu fights in Germany. He was very witty in nature and would crack jokes to no end. But as one of his other friend, Palan Sivapalan, would say, he never put down anyone in any of the anecdotes. In fact, his building up of everyone was not only an ego trip to the recipient, but a great confidence booster too. He definitely was one of a kind. Here I would like to, I am a good fan of Tamil poems as well. Here I would like to quote a statement by Puratchi Kaviniar Bharatidasan, and I quote, "Tan pendu, tan pillai, soru, வீடு, சாம்பத்தியம், இவையோடு தானும் தான் பாட்டுண்டிருப்பவன் சின்னதொரு கடுகு போல் உள்ளம் கொண்டோன்." I'll repeat. தன் பெண்டு, தன் பிள்ளை, சோறு, வீடு, சம்பாத்தியம், இவையென்று தானுமுண்டென்போல் சின்னதொரு கடுகு போல் உள்ளம் கொண்டோன். A person who is only interested in his wife, his children, his food, his house, his earnings, and keeps to himself, has a selfish mind the size of a mustard seed. This is how some of us, including me, are. But our Sivakumaran was right the opposite. He was in many respects a very broad-minded person with a very helpful attitude. Although he was very wise when it comes to his spending habits, an admirable trait that may run in the family, he was an extremely helpful person, ever ready to share his talents and wisdom in helping others in difficulty. This is an admirable quality, as you have heard earlier, and there are many who have benefited from that, and some of them are sitting here. I thank God for giving me such a friend. He was certainly one of a kind. I am particularly saddened as he was my best friend and soulmate almost all my life, from school days through the university times to the day I arrived in the UK, right until his dying day. In fact, he was at my place only a few days ago, celebrating the reunion of about 15 classmates, and you will see those pictures out there, who walked into a classroom at Hartley College, Point Petru 62 years ago. That will give my age away. He enjoyed the reunion and was his normal self, reminiscing and sharing his lifetime memories with those around. He was a human with unparalleled memory power. Some of them have already forgotten all we were doing then. I feel as if part of me is gone forever. I see this as the last celebration in his life. Our friendship started when we were both in our teens, who shared an interest in chasing girls from neighboring schools, Vadahindu, MHS Point Petru. We were both nicknamed Sudiyangal, flirts, by our friends, and would be seen together everywhere as a pair, wearing red and green shirts. This became the hallmark of the pair. I must stress here that neither of us really serious with the flirting. It was only a pastime job. But we ended up marrying the girls of our parents' choice, Kala and Vimala respectively. And we shared a house together in New Malden when we arrived as a married couple. I bought a house right opposite him when he bought a house. And my children were born almost at the same time, and they grew up together. Yeah, I was going to say thank God for having given me the last fun in my presence at my home. What a way to go and a lovely friendship. At this point, I must also add that Siva also have another special friend, Smile Rajendram, who was a classmate of him and has been very close to him lately. He is the man behind most of the organizing today, working tirelessly. He is equally a good friend of me, and I would like to use this opportunity to thank him personally for all his tireless contribution. During his later years, Sivakumaran took a fancy for playing golf and developed skills high enough to compete with some well-known amateurs in golf. I did not say this, he said that to me, which he thoroughly enjoyed until his dying day. Siva also introduced golfing, and that man is here, to his old friend Dr. Suryamurthy, who managed to pick up the skills very quickly and join in with him as a golf partner. Some people here may not know that Sivakumaran was brought up in a disciplined Hindu family, and most of the people previously were saying that. were regular temple visits and observance of related Hindu rituals, such as fasting on certain days was a way of life. And I still remember his father insisting him to apply Tirunuru on his forehead and drink plenty of water before he rides off to school to write an exam or something like that. Although the present day Sivakumaran may not have displayed that trait in the public, as far as I can tell, he was still very religious in his mind and remembered the Thevarams and Thiruvasakam by heart. I have stood next to him on many occasions at many funerals and heard him mumble in chorus Thevarams and Thiruvasakam as they were recited by others. So I am going to end my tribute by reciting a Thevaram which he knew well is my favorite, and I will modify it slightly. I would like to think that he would have liked me to recite it here. The recital is based on the theme that a devotee of Lord Shiva, the supreme god of all Saivites, prays to him all his life, seeking a passage to reach him, and eventually Lord Shiva calls for him and he falls at his feet and merges with him. அவனுடைய நாமம் கேட்டான், மூர்த்தி அவனிருக்கும் வண்ணம் கேட்டான், பின்னை அவனுடைய ஆரூர் கேட்டான், பெயர்த்தும் அவனுக்கே விச்சியானான், அனையும் அத்தனையும் அன்றே நீத்தான், அகன்றானகளிடத்தால் ஆசாரத்தை தன்னை மறந்தான், தன்னாமம் கெட்டான், தலைப்பட்டான் தனையன் தலை வந்தாளே. Finally, let me end with these words. Dr. Sivakumaran is survived by his wife Kala and sons Nimram and Sham. All his three sons are married happily and settled, with Ram having 2 little boys. Lately, I noticed that Sivakumaran was spending a lot of his time with the 2 young grandsons, and I sensed that he was really on top of the world, enjoying his life. He was too young to go, but what a way to go. Bye, my friend. See you sometime in heaven. Vanuhil valadu veiga, manivalam surakka, manan konnurai arasu seiga, குறை விழாதுயிர்கள் வாழ்க, நனரையரங்களோங்க, நத்தபம் வெடிமல்க, மேன்மைகள் சைவ நீதி விளங்குக உலகமெல்லாம்.